Happy Wednesday, everyone, and thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, we got a lot to get to this show, but we are going to talk some Arizona football here and possibly a win, a game for the ages. Let's get started here on Locked On Wildcats.
You are Locked On Wildcats, your daily podcast on the Arizona Wildcats. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, we got a lot to get to today, but we are going to talk some Arizona football here. Now, I think a lot of times people say, you know what, I'm done with Arizona football. We'll talk next year, whatever the case may be. And that's generally because a team ends up getting disappointed. And let's be honest, though. As an Arizona fan, we've had a long time. We've had a long track record, I'll put it to you this, of getting disappointed when Arizona plays well. There's been games where there's been seasons where Arizona comes off the Desert Swarm year where you finish 10th in the country, tons of expectations next year, and lo and behold, it doesn't happen. And then 1998, you finish in the top 5 in the country, top 4 actually, and then you go out there and the next year you go 8-4. It just happens. And I think a lot of people were seeing this with they were thinking this with Jedd Fisch. Arizona starts out, you get 3 wins, come to find out the wins weren't against teams that were very good. And it's like, all right, well, we got to shut everything down. We'll see you next year. But this team has battled this program has certainly battled that, and they have come out on top. This win against UCLA this past week was something that will, if Jedd Fisch turns out to be a very successful coach at Arizona, which I do believe he will, this is going to, I think, be his signature win right here. This UCLA is not a great team, but UCLA is a good team. They're a top 25 team. Arizona went in there, and not only did they win, they were able to move the ball pretty consistently right there. And, people say, well, this, that, or the other about how, UCLA really isn't that good. UCLA was a 20-point favorite. That's simple. UCLA was a 20-point favorite in their home, in their spot, and Arizona went in there and they beat them. And there is a lot to like about what we saw there. And let's talk first about the offense right there. Now, one thing about these guys that I think is incredibly impressive is that they've dealt with a lot of criticism, no doubt about it. But Arizona went in there coming off, obviously some tough losses, and there were multiple opportunities for Arizona to fold, and they never folded. They didn't fold once. And again, there were those opportunities. You could have gone in there and you could have seen Arizona say, all right, well, you know what? We got 3 wins this year. Let's get to it next. Now, I think one thing that we do need to look at is Jayden de Laura. Jayden de Laura is next level. Jayden de Laura is the best quarterback here since Matt Scott. And I don't even know that, and I think he's probably better than Matt Scott. I think you can make the case he's already one of the 3 or 4 best quarterbacks in school history. Now, I think what's also exciting about where we are right now is, I don't see anything. I don't see anything where it's going to be a step back. I think right now, Arizona is going to be able to put points on the board and going to be able to put points on the board for a long time. And I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be, because again, you got Jayden de Laura right there, who we talked about, but then you look at the running backs, you return all the running backs as well. Not only do you return all the running backs, you also have wide receivers in there as well that are going to be amongst the best in the nation. good stuff all the way around. Now, let's talk about the offensive line. The offensive line is fascinating to me because this goes to show me too where Arizona is with everything. And it's kind of a microcosm. It's kind of a microcosm of where Jedd Fisch has been able to take this program. Because again, you look at the offensive line right there. Jordan Morgan, he inherited, obviously. Jordan Morgan has been absolutely fantastic. Jordan Morgan's now out for the year. But you look at the rest of the offensive line. Jonas Savaiinaea and Wendell Moe will not come out of the lineup again, barring injury. Both of those guys are next level type interior linemen and probably going to play in the NFL. You watch them and you're like, okay, where they're both really, really strong. How did they fall under it? Now, again, Jonas Savaiinaea, I get he's in Hawaii. Jonas Savaiinaea probably should have been a 5-star lineman. Wendell Moe, though, is a one that is very fascinating to me as to why he wasn't rated higher. Wendell Moe, you watch him move, and Lamont talked about this the other day. Wendell Moe looks the part. He can move. He's strong, and on top of that, you can just tell that football comes naturally to him. That's a big part of it right there. Now, when it comes to Jonas Savaiinaea, we said that's Hawaii, but you look at it when you got Lange, you got Borjan, you've got Josh Baker. There's a lot to like on this line right here. There's a lot to like, and the future I think is incredibly bright. Now, looking at the defensive side of the ball, I love. I would go triple exclamation point love going with the younger guys out there. Again, Hunter Echols has done a really nice job. Jalen Harris had a really nice game, but I love going with the future right there. You've got Kungaika. You've got Uiagalelei manning both the tackle positions. You got Sterling Lane in there. You got Deuce Davis in there. Get them burn, get them run, because they are going to be huge parts of what Arizona wants to do next year. Guys, all four of those guys are going to be huge for the program itself. Now, where is then on the linebacker spot? At the linebacker spot, it's with Jacob Manu is obviously a stud. Jacob Manu is probably going to be an all-conference guy for a long time, as long as he's here. Again, know that he's not. I totally get that he's not smart. I totally get that he's not the biggest guy in the world, but football comes to him. Football naturally comes to him, and that is a big thing when it comes to a football player. Obviously, is how are they built? What exactly do they look like? Now, but you got to find some other guys in there as well. You've got to be able to find. Where exactly is going to be that other linebacker. And I believe you're going to be able to find that linebacker, whether that's Leviticus Sua, whoever the case may be in the portal. I think you'll find some other linebackers, or I at least hope you will. Now, in the secondary, the positions are a little flexible, but I think that both of these guys are going to be able to man positions for a long time. You look at Takario Davis, you look at Ephesians Prysock, and you watch Traden Stukes, and you know that Arizona's in good hands right there. Arizona is in really good hands right there. And then at the safety, those are still some guys you need to be able to get. You need to be able to get a DJ Warnell, who I do like. Gunnar Maldonado is shown to a certain extent, but you lose Christian Young. You got Jackson Turner back. Safeties you'd like to be able to probably shore up a little bit. But what I do absolutely love about, and I'm going to talk a little special teams here, Tyler Loop. Tyler Loop has been underappreciated, I think, this entire season. And the reason that it's been underappreciated is that when you watch when you've watched Arizona football over the years, if you're an Arizona fan, you know that there's a couple things that certainly come into play. And one of the things is the kicking game that so many of us grew up with being very big, being very good has been a problem. You've had a lot of you've had a lot of Alex Zendejas's in here, and you've also had other guys like Lucas Havrisek who can hit the ball from 80 yards, but can also consistently miss 30-yarders. Tyler Loop is clearly a reliable kicker inside of 40 yards, and that's all I care about. Jedd Fisch is an aggressive coach inside his own 50. He's shown that multiple times. You're not going to have a ton of 50-yard field goals, except knock on wood or knock on Chromebook, the ones that to end the game. But you're also going to see something where everything in from 40 is good. Extra points, no more crossing your fingers with extra points. You got to be able to hop in there. All right. So again, Arizona football is in great shape. Now let's look ahead a little bit to Washington State. This is the Jayden de Laura revenge game. I don't know if there's any other way to put it. This is the Jayden de Laura was the Pac-12 Freshman of the Year last year at Washington State. Depending on how you want to look at it, you could make the case that Washington State maybe look to go in a different direction. Arizona fans are certainly glad that you got Jayden de Laura. And you know what? Washington State, you got Cameron Ward. Both seem to be doing pretty well. Now, where I think it's going to be fascinating to follow with Arizona is what are they going to be able to do then against Washington State? Are they going to be able to beat Washington State? And I think that they're going to be able to. I think they're going to beat Washington State. I really do. I think that Arizona is going to go in there and Washington State's going to come in here and Arizona's going to win. I thought that one before the season was a good one, and I think they're going to beat ASU. I could be totally wrong on this. Betting odds would probably tell you to pick one of them, but you know what? Around here, we back the A. I am totally going to back the A on this one. And again, I think that I like where Arizona stands right now. I think Arizona is going. I think we're going bowling. I just put it out there right now. Mike Luke stating it right here. All right, we're going to get to some Arizona basketball in a minute here. But first, let's talk a little LinkedIn. All right. LinkedIn is the place that you want to, we'll get to the read in a second. Well, no, we'll get to the read right now. LinkedIn is the best place to get all of your job applications you need for free. You can post your job for free, all kinds of stuff. And there's a reason that everybody is on LinkedIn, because it works, because people like it, because it works. Check it out. LinkedIn. Everybody knows somebody that's got a job through LinkedIn. LinkedIn.com/LockedOnCollege. Post your job for free. Get the applicants you need for free. Sponsored by LinkedIn. Now, again, with LinkedIn, it's a little bit of a recruiting thing as well. So the one thing with LinkedIn is you've got with Arizona, you want to get a Leviticus Sua in here. A Leviticus Sua would make a total difference for Arizona football. You might be saying, who's Leviticus Sua? He's a 4-star linebacker out of Modern Day. Arizona has had success with guys from there, and I think you're going to continue to see that with this squad right now. I do believe that Arizona is. You're going to have to hit the linebacker. Position really, really hard. But Leviticus Sua is who you want to get in there. And again, that would also keep you in Southern California. You want to continue to make inroads right there with. So again, I think that Arizona is in very, very good shape right there. That's what you got to do, though. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with you. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats. I'm your host, Mike Luke. All right, now, with when it comes to Arizona basketball, and we talked about this a little bit, another venue, player of the year was a big question mark, I think, for a lot of people out there. And honestly, for obvious reasons here, because Azuolas Tubelis was the best player, was the best returning player, but there were a lot of questions about Zoo, to put it mildly. First of all, he played terrible in the NCAA tournament, and then on top of that, you had other. He looked out of his realm. You got him now and going into the year, and we've talked about it a billion times. We want 18-8 out of him. 18-8, where where it's an effective 18-8, where you got the ball and I need you to score right here. You go ahead and score, and you make this one happen. But we're also maybe at the point too where Pelle Larsson has had something to say about it. My bad, Pelle. Pelle Larsson is much, much better than I ever thought he would be. And quite frankly, while he's kind of careless at times, he's not a great passer, and his ball handling isn't great. He is kind of the epitome of steady, to put it mildly. He is he's about 6'5", and he's a strong 6'5". He's a very good defender. Tommy Lloyd talked about him from the beginning of the year needing to be that he could be an all-conference type defender. And the one thing that we found out with the Tommy gun is that he's good on predictions. So again, that should have immediately put us on notice there. Then on top of that, with Arizona, you've got two guys right there. How good can they be? Can they be two of the top 5 players in the conference? Can they be two of the top 10 players in the conference? Because if they are that, it's going to be able to help out Arizona immensely if they can be two of those guys. Now, you've also got Courtney Ramey coming back. Courtney Ramey coming back is a huge part of what Arizona wants to do. I've thought from day one that he could be one of your 2 best players. I'll say this. If he's one of Arizona's 2 best players, Arizona is going to go very, very far this season, because those other 2, obviously, I think kind of speak for themselves. But Courtney Ramey also kind of speaks for himself. As a junior under Shaka Smart, a more up-tempo offense, 12 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, kind of right in that realm. I think that you're going to see that at the very least this year. So again, but Ramey coming back is a big, big thing for Arizona. Okay, now, BetOnline. If you were thinking about BetOnline and you were thinking about Arizona and Tommy Lloyd, the one thing that you would know about at BetOnline is that this is the easiest place to navigate everything. You go from, you can bet live, you can bet in-game, you can bet during the game, you can bet all kinds of stuff, and they've got the point spreads there as well. You've got, you've got live betting, props, you name it, they got it. I've said from day one that I think that last year I thought Arizona's basketball team was going to be better than they were. I thought the football team would be better this year. That's why you need to be on BetOnline. Make yourself some money, and it's fun in the process, and it's easy. All right, we'll be right back with you, getting you ready for tomorrow. Thanks for keeping it locked on, Wildcats. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, time to get you ready for tomorrow. We're going to talk Arizona hoops. We're going to talk Arizona football, and we're going to get to some Arizona women's basketball as well. As we all know, that season is in full. Force right now. With I think with this squad, the one thing you do wonder is where. How good are Tubelis and Pelle Larsson when it totally matters. Again, it's one thing to be able to put up points against Bakersfield, NAU, schools like that, but when the chips are truly down, where are they, can they be that guy? Because again, there are some guys that put up good 18-8s. There are other guys that put up impactful 18-8s. What kind of 18-8s are these? All right. And then we're going to talk more Arizona football as well. A lot to get to. But as always, really appreciate everybody out there. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Again, we've got a lot to talk about. Arizona athletics is in a very good spot right now, and you've got to thank the greatness of Dave Hickey, of President Robbins. You name it, they've been able to do it. So, and they've learned and programs right now are headed in a great direction. So you have a great rest of your Wednesday. And as always, thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats. I am your